Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's match preview of Newcastle United versus Leicester City, of course, at St James's Park, which kicks off at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And, of course, Match Day Live here on the Toon review gets underway at 2:30. Just hearing that Nick Pope is injured, so it looks like he's not playing either to add to our woes of injuries, but we'll come to that a bit later on. But welcome, everybody. My name's Paul, joined by, of course, Stato and Billy, as usual, for the preview. And if you do enjoy the show tonight, please give it the thumbs up. And, of course, if you're new, please do subscribe. Well over 33,500 subscribers now, on the way to 34,000. And, of course, you can support the channel in the usual two ways, which is membership, which is the join button underneath us. And, of course, super chats, which is the $ under the live chat. And that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. And, of course, a big thank you to our channel sponsor, Mamaroo Records. If you're ever around in Whitley Bay Town Centre, call in and see Steve. Vinyl records, merchandise, sporting merchandise, gift cards. The man has it all. And a perfect time, of course, for Christmas. So pop in and see Steve. Tell him you're a Toon Review watcher, and he will do you a cracking deal. If you can't get into the shop itself, the website is pinned at the top of the description. So get yourself on there for some fantastic deals. So, again, another massive shout out to our sponsor, Mamaroo Records. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, and good evening to all you beautiful people out there in Viewerland.
Now, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, tonight my camera will not freeze. I do have a new capture card. I bought one off Amazon, but it was considerably cheaper than the Cam Link that I used from Elgato. But it's working, and it's working nice and clearly. So hopefully, I've had it on for about half an hour now before the show, and I did not get one freeze. So fingers crossed, the problem has been solved, because last night was doing my bloody head in. So you shouldn't have to worry about your camera, but there you go. It's just part of the parcel of having a YouTube channel. Right. I want to start off. Obviously, we'll come to Nick Pope shortly, because there's a lot of people now confirming that in the chat that Pope is injured. However, we're going to talk about Callum Wilson first, guys, because last night when it was announced, I was quite pissed off, to be honest. That is, as you know, that is just a raw reaction to things, and that's why we do live shows. You get a raw reaction, you get an immediate reaction to match days and things like that, and it is very raw. However, you know, as overnight passes and you sort of think about it a bit more, and then you see what Callum's had to say on social media as well. Look, there's like I said in the video earlier on, there's two sides to this. There's the personal side for Callum Wilson, and there's the footballing side. On the personal side, he's probably going through hell, very disappointed. I got the feeling that in his social media announcement or statement, he's very down, and naturally he's very down. He wants to play football, he wants to be on the pitch, but on the footballing side of things, for me, that's it. I can't see a future for Callum Wilson anymore. I think maybe this is Callum Wilson's body just saying, look, enough's enough. Maybe he can play at somewhere else, but not at the top level in the Premier League. We've thought this for quite some time. We expected another announcement saying Callum was injured, etc., etc., and it's happened again. We've got a comment from Phil Tay. Paul, any chance you can give a shout out to War Kid? It's his 10th birthday. His name is Joel. He loves Billy especially. Well, Billy, do you want to do the honours there, mate, then?
Yeah, of course. Happy birthday, Joel Tate. I hope you're having a real great day, mate.
Happy birthday, Joel. Hope you're having a cracking day, and thank you for watching the show. Much appreciated. Billy, we'll start with you. I mean, what do you think of it all?
He's been riddled with injuries most of his career, to be honest. In bygone ages, you used to get players that, your careers were blighted by injuries, and you'd see them retire at 23, 24 because they couldn't carry on. Yeah. With this technology we've got these days, he's been able to push his career to 31. But, I mean, we've had one real good season out of him this season. We finished 4th. And I think that tells a story. Keep him fit, and he's a fantastic player. Unfortunately, we can't keep him fit. There's no room for sentiment in football. However, I can't see us getting rid of him until his contract runs out, to be honest.
Well, nobody's going to buy your mother. Let's be fair. He's going to be injured. If he's out for 2 months, he's going to be injured throughout the transfer window, Alex. Yeah. So there's no way that anybody comes in for him, surely to God.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no chance. And he's had setbacks. He's had a lot of setbacks. But this is the first time I've seen a large number of people talking about retirement. Which is a little bit concerning, a little bit alarming.
Yeah.
But it naturally just kind of got to that point where a lot of people are talking about maybe he should retire, which must be horrible for him to read. But he's really struggling to even. Yeah, he was taken out in May. He was given back surgery. He was nursed back to fitness super carefully. Super carefully. We were hoping we were going to have him back in sort of October. We got him back start of December, really. So it was brought back very, very slowly. The only thing I'd say, obviously, his head's probably in a really tough place right now. He does keep saying about his doubters and this, that, and the other. And I think maybe Callum knows this deep down. We're not angry with him specifically, and obviously everybody does appreciate. We've not got short memories at all. He's the second leading scorer at the club behind Shearer, I'm pretty sure. So everybody appreciates what Callum's done for the club. Yeah. He's fantastic, and he's absolutely clinical on his day, and he's a beast. But we need a footballer who can be available, and it's how many. It's not that we're just talking faces on a screen and we're being negative. We need someone to be able to play football. We can't have Isak play.
There has been personal abuse on social media today aimed at Callum, which I think is disgusting. Yes, it's frustrating. Of course it is for us fans. But this just says to me, I know I got annoyed last night, but I wasn't aiming anything at Callum personally. I just think he's made of cheese strings.
You see, look, it's comments like this that are a problem. Seeing out his contract out of pure greed.
Why is it greed, Laura?
For me, we gave him that contract. There's nothing down to Callum. We gave him that contract, or the club gave him that contract.
Yeah.
And he's tried his absolute best to try and get fit for us on the pitch. Why is it greed to be paid the salary that you've been offered by a club? What's the problem with that?
Yeah, he's contracted.
That's over the line for abuse, in my opinion.
The club the club have given him that contract, like you say, and Callum's perfectly entitled to see it out. But on a mental note, Billy, it's the mental side of it for Callum that I think people have to be aware of. Yes, for us fans from the outside looking in, it's annoying. It's frustrating. It's very, because we know what Isak's like. He's not 100% all the time as well. And he's prone to injury. And we'll put ourselves in a situation now where we are struggling for strikers again. And we could be back to square one all over again within the next few weeks, because all the games coming up, there's going to, his refusal to play Asula means that there's a hell of a workload on Isak again.
Yeah, and if he's not going to play Asula, it means again that we're going to be imbalanced and playing players out of position, which I think he'll do anyway. I think that's the way he's gone before, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did it again. For Callum Wilson, he's kind of spent his career building himself back up after bad injury after bad injury after bad injury, and eventually it kind of gets to the point where do you actually give up mentally? Surely you do. Because he had this operation in the summer to try and alleviate some of these problems.
He did. Yeah.
Hasn't worked. If anything, it's worse.
He's done a lot of work behind the scenes to put himself right. That statement he came out with a few weeks ago, saying he changed his diet, his sleeping patterns. He's done a lot of work into learning about the human body and trying to do things a little bit differently. But when your body says no, it doesn't matter what you do. When you get to a certain age and your body tells you can't do X, Y, or Z, that's it. And for me, his body is telling him that enough's enough at this level. Now, that's not to say he can't go somewhere else and smash the goals in for a few years, by all means. But at the Premier League level, I think it's extremely tough due to the rigors and the physicality of it all. Loaf, thank you very much for your super chat. Go to the channel. Keep being amazing. Thank you very much. And Chippers, thank you for yours. I blame the club and management regarding the Wilson situation. We have had enough windows to replace him and failed. They are to blame for this. I did sort of touch on the club earlier on in the video because we did say, and we did say on this channel, that we should be bringing in another striker, but we haven't. And, are the club to look at for this, Alex, in your opinion?
Potentially. I think it's an unfortunate one. I think it was one of those where they could see he was a really good finisher. He was a very good player, very willing to learn and adapt and fight for the cause. And they were hoping that we could maybe solve the injuries and get more, maybe the most out of him to a point. And unfortunately, it's not really happened. It was a bit of a gamble. It's not paid off. It is what it is. It's not down to, and I have to just reply to Laura there, essentially stating because he should do the decent thing and terminate. No, that's you basically suggesting that the moral thing for him to do is to just give up his contract promised to him because his body's let him down. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's very unfair. The club have promised him a contract that he's presumably planned for his family and his life around. You can't just then go, oh, so just terminate. No, we won't do anything. That's ridiculous. That is an opinion. That is an opinion.
I think Laura's frustrated, clearly frustrated, and that is fair enough. You know, people are going to have different opinions. We've seen them all day, of course, going around social media.
Well, that is her opinion. It's not should be terminated. That's not the decent thing to do. That's the decent and moral thing to do, in your opinion. I can imagine that would probably be heartbreaking.
She's voicing her opinion, which is fair enough. But I mean, look. It doesn't work like that in football. We know it doesn't. Players don't turn around and say, "I'll mutually terminate my contract because I know I can't get fit." You know, the best people are going to be looking after Callum again and trying to get him going. You know, Callum may come back the back end of the season and get 5 to 10 goals for us, which could be massive. I mean, I know it
could be, but then they might be tempted to give him another contract. We'll go through all again.
There is the problem because that's what Newcastle United tend to do, isn't it? You know, however, you know, we've seen reports this afternoon, guys, that Newcastle may be listening to offers for Sean Longstaff in January. What do you make of that, Billy?
From who? I'll be interested to know who wants Sean Longstaff.
Well, we don't know. It just says the report says Newcastle United will listen to offers. So it doesn't say any club are interested in him. It just said they'll listen to any offers that come in.
Someone like Everton, something like that, maybe. Would want him? I don't know.
It's on social media.
I don't know what his contract situation is. But when does he run
out? Next year, 2026, isn't it for Sean?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I think he got an extension, didn't he? I'll have a look.
Possibly. I know there is a lot of people who've. I'm trying to find. Craig Hope's just put on that he understands Nick Pope picked up an injury at Brentford and is now a doubt for the weekend. Oh dear.
Sore back from picking the ball out of the net.
Well, 7 times in 2 games. I would imagine that's quite a stretch, isn't it? Really. I'm just trying to find the Longstaff one, see who it was linked to. But I did see
Sean's
3 or 4.
Contract expires June 2025, unless something's changed.
2025. So he's out of contract in the summer as well. I thought he'd had I might have read it wrong.
I thought he'd had an extension. I don't know.
Who's going to buy him in January if he's out of contract in June? Makes no sense.
Well, we need to extend that. We can't, you know, we need the right amount of bodies. We need squad depth. So we can't, if we get rid of Sean, like we already need enough players as it is. We might have to get a goalkeeper. We need a centre half. We need a right winger. Well, we're going to also then go get a midfielder. Like, where's all this money coming from?
Well, this is the thing. Apparently, we've had no money, have we? You know, if you believe what Luke Edwards says, we've got no money to buy players. Yet, where's that £60 million that we bid for Gay? That's just disappeared into thin air. It's come from Craig Hope, mate. Newcastle will listen to offers for Sean Longstaff in January. Conversations in transfer circles this week have revealed that the 27-year-old is available for transfer. And that's from Craig Hope as well.
Interesting. Be interesting to see what kind of, because it'd be a team like an Ipswich, something like that, maybe. I can imagine him going to a top 6 side, no chance on God's earth.
Yeah.
And then the likes of Fulham, Villa, them kind of teams, West Ham, absolutely not. So you're looking at lower level Premier League or top level Championship, I imagine.
Yeah.
Leicester's still a good shout for him.
Leicester, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, the problem is, I mean, Sean at the minute, is in and out the side, and he's been more in than he has been out. So, is Eddie putting him in now just for shop window purposes? Because he knows he needs to raise
get
the
rid
funds.
of him.
Well, Sean, you know, as much as it sounds strange to say this, but out of the players that we've been talking about who may move in January, Sean will probably bring in the most amount of money, will he not?
Contract length would suggest maybe not.
Well,
but the fact he's stable, Premier League proven, arguably a peak age for his position. There might be something reasonable. You know, it's not like we were back in the day trying to flog Hayden and Dwight Gale and all of that, trying to get rid of them. That was just impossible. Whereas Sean has proven himself to be good enough in the Premier League, and maybe not good enough to start every week for a team pushing Europe, but at least good enough to be in the Premier League.
Interesting. Rabbit Nunn says Longstaff will be looking at contracts elsewhere, as if his contract expires, he will be out of work soon. I think even if he left,
unless he's having talks, which is very possible.
I mean, obviously Miley's coming. Miley's there. He's a natural replacement, I think, for Sean. Although I think Miley's got more to his game. But look, January is going to be very interesting, Billy, isn't it? It is going to be interesting to see who we try and offload, because I would assume that the Miggy's on that list. Surely to God, Matt Target's on that list. We've got to raise some money to bring in. We've got to now possibly look at bringing in a striker who's ready to go.
Well, I'm glad we've got a world-class director of football and technical director, what you want to call him, sporting director, Mitchell, because he's going to have to get really, really creative, because we need 3 players, I see now. Not just one, not just 2. If Wilson's out for the next 2 or 3 months and you can't guarantee him after that, I think we need a striker, I think we need a right winger, I think we need a centre-half. They're urgent. Yeah,
but do you think we get all 3 positions in January, Billy? Because I think that's
what I'm saying. He's going to have to get creative, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's going to have to get creative. Yeah. Loan markets, whatever, I don't know, but he's going to have to do something. Because if we're going to...
by the way, go on, Billy.
If we go to the rest of the season after January with positions missing, we're asking for trouble. And, you know, the place we're on in the Premier League right now, we're as close to the bottom as we are to the top. So,
yeah,
you're asking for trouble.
You know, sorry, Alex, just one thing before you make your point there. Brian Mbeumo would be a perfect signing, because we know he can play those 2 positions, and that would kind of cover 2, wouldn't it? I think they've got to look at Mbeumo. Alex?
I think the opposite. I think we need to completely go off script, because we can't afford to buy Premier League proven players. We can't do it. I think we've got to take a risk, personally. And after our transfer show last night, by the way, Paul, when we talked about Akliouche, he then got linked immediately.
Yeah, he did.
Strange, but
maybe you never know who watches the transfer shows, Alex. You never know.
Well, he's been linked previously, but there's been nothing recent. And then all of a sudden, boom, Mark Douglas does the article straight after that.
Indeed.
So for anybody, who wanted us to review Akliouche, we can now do it again. So that is the kind of signing I think we should go for. I think we need to make, and it is risky, and if it goes wrong, it is a bit of a problem. But I think it's go hard or go home in this case, because I think if we try and just drip feed in 40 to 60 mil signings very, very slowly, the squad turnover is going to be too slow. It's not going to work. I think, you know, all these positions we're talking about needing a striker, a right winger, a centre half, a long-term solution for Nick Pope, somebody to replace Trippier in the squad as well. What happens if Sean goes? There's so many. We can't drop 40 to 60 mil on all of those positions. We've not got Manchester United's money. So we're going to have to be creative.
Nor they anymore.
Well, they've just got an endless pit of money that just gets forgiven, don't they?
Apparently
we're going to have to do something a little bit different, I think. Maybe one Premier League proven player, but then the rest is going to have to be creative.
I mean, Chris at Evermore, you know, he's been quite strongly pushing going for Evan Ferguson at Brighton, maybe try and get him on loan.
He'll be overpriced.
With a view to buying him, but he's going to cost a lot of money. But I know what you mean about Premier League proven players, Alex. What I'm trying to say is not bring somebody in, not necessarily from the Premier League, but not a Will Asula, bring somebody in who is experienced and ready to go, because that's what we need now, not players for the future. We need them for the here and now.
You've just got to identify them properly. I mean, I was having this conversation with somebody today at work. If you look at, for example, Liverpool's forwards, right? Right. So we're talking about Premier League proven and people who can do it in the Prem and are ready. So Liverpool's forwards, excluding Mo Salah, who was in the Prem at Chelsea, Jota, who I guess was at Wolves, Chiesa, Gakpo, Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez, all came from outside of the Premier League. Szoboszlai came from outside of the Premier League. Gravenberch, a lot of these players, and you can go to a lot of the big teams. You don't have to go and drop an absolute ton of, like, a bucket load of money on a player. And obviously we're not necessarily going to shop in exactly the same window as them, but maybe the bracket under that, there are players you can get between sort of 10 and 30, and you've got to be good at scouting. And surely that's the whole point in bringing in a director whose forte is recruitment specifically. So we can try and bridge that gap, because we need it. I don't think Dan Ash would have been able to do that, really.
Clue says Cherky on the cheap because of Leon's financial situation. I've seen a few clips of Cherky playing in recent games. Oh my
he's
God,
a freak. He's a freak of nature. He's so good at football. It's absurd. It's
just unbelievable. Ben Jacobs suggests we should go for Richarlison. Says I like coffee. Jesus Christ! I mean, well,
what have we done to upset Ben?
Well, I mean,
we're playing him Saturday, didn't we?
Where he's a Leicester fan.
He's a Leicester fan, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
That'll be why.
Billy, how about the Messiah coming back? Christopher Wood.
Don't think Forest would sell, would they? Let's be honest.
No, not now. Not now. They definitely feel like they got the best end of that bargain.
Even if it had a bang on the head and I forgot about the 12 months he was here for, Forest ain't going to want to sell Chris Wood. Absolutely not. He's suits their system and he's banging goals in. And we probably have to pay a lot more money than what we sold him for as well. Yeah,
well, one thing's for certain, it is going to be an incredible transfer window, and I think Newcastle United are going to be very much involved in the window, literally every day. So be prepared that as soon as, well, not just January, actually, the whole of this month as well, there is probably going to be players linked to Newcastle United every single day. And when the window opens on New Year's Day, I think we're going to... What would you rather do, Alex? Would you hope that they've got players in mind already that they'll target early in the window?
Yeah, it would be fun for us to have a decent deadline day, because we always do a long day. For anybody who's new to the channel, we do an entire day of the deadline day, which is always really fun.
It's a charity stream, yeah.
But yeah, I would prefer us to get players in the first 2 weeks of January, because you know what Eddie Howe is like with integrating players as well. So the sooner the better.
Has anyone out there got Sky Sports News on? Bayern Munich women just scored a fourth goal, and the name of the woman that scored it, well, I'm not going to say it, but it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, I think that was mentioned the other week when they thumped Arsenal, Billy. I think she got a mention.
It's not Minge. It's worse than that.
I think we've seen this before.
Yes. Anyway, let's quickly move on. Laura says last deadline day was Shan. Now listen, I'm up to date with the word Shan because I have kids, and that is apparently a word for bollocks, absolute crap, rubbish. So listen, I'm down there with the chat. Would we look at Saudi, Billy?
Why not? Why not? I've said that. Why haven't we done it before? If that's the case. But Ivan Toney on loan for 3 months, 6 months, just gets into the season.
Gabby Vega's still out there.
Mitrovic,
years old.
Another one.
Mitrovic. Well, Mitrovic has been mentioned a few. I'm not sure how Mitrovic is doing at the minute, actually, in Saudi.
I mean, I can probably tell you. Probably very well, because he's been a goal machine anywhere he's been, to be fair.
Yeah.
I know people don't like him, but he's not a bad footballer. 13 appearances, 13 goals so far this season.
Oh, well, there you go. Bring him in.
He's 30 now.
Newcastle United fan as well. Maybe come back in 6 months.
He scored 28 goals in 27 starts last year as well. So he's basically banging in a goal a game for fun.
Yeah. That would be very interesting. I can't see Mitrovic coming back. It would be very interesting. It would be interesting, but it's a push. It's a bit of a push, guys. Let's be honest. But there is quite a lot of strikers in Saudi. Coffee, I'd love that song back again. Mitro's on fire. Yeah, your defense is terrified. I mean, you could sing that about Isak as well. You could change Mitro to Isak. And we could still get that song going again. I remember when we destroyed, I think it was Preston in the Carabao Cup, and they played that at the end of the game. And I had quite a few of my family there, and it was just an incredible atmosphere at the end when Mitro was clapping the Gallagher end. But those days are long gone, of course. Right, let's turn our attention to, of course, Saturday, where Newcastle United take on Leicester City. I'm expecting a win, Billy. I think a lot of Newcastle fans are expecting a win. But we know that when these sort of teams come to St. James's, it can be a bit of an up and down game of football, shall we say?
Well, they're going to play low block and counter-attack, I imagine. And we struggle with that. And we've got to play a balanced lineup again, plays in the right positions, similar to I'd play the same team that played against Liverpool. And if they do that and play the same standard, then I'll beat Leicester. Simple as that for me.
Alex, it looks like Nick Pope might be out for the game, given the reports that are now breaking tonight. Why is it whenever we go live, there's reports come out of injuries? It's mental. So it could be your favourite goalkeeper back on Saturday, Alex.
No. The answer is Vlaco Dimos. The second answer is John Ruddy. The Slovakian is done.
Alex,
sorry,
you know he's going to play Dubravka because he's been on the bench, isn't he?
He does not deserve to play. He does not deserve to play. All of this. Oh, but remember what I did when I was better. Okay. Yeah, all right. What about now though? You're still in contract. It's absolutely not. He's not good enough to be playing. He's rooted to his line.
From a football point of view, behind two slow centre halves. Dubravka's a nightmare.
It's awful. It's the worst option. At least Vlaco Dimos is playing regularly for Greece. I guess Dubravka is for Slovakia, but he's just not what we need. He's absolutely not what we need. He's not good enough anymore. His reactions, his shot-stopping ability, his reading of the play to actually come off his line and do defensive actions, sort of just awful. It's never been good, but it's been. Last season was a huge issue. With Dubravka, well, he was the root cause of a lot of
I think that's my worry, Billy. You spot on there with two slow centre halves. You've got Burn and Share, and then a goalkeeper like Dubravka, who, shall we say, is very hesitant coming off his line. That could cause a lot of problems for us on Saturday. I know, listen, Jamie Vardy might be up front for Leicester City and he's nowhere near the pace that he used to be.
He's quicker than Fabian Schär.
But he's still quicker. Yeah, that's what I mean. If you look at Vardy this season, he's still got a bit of pace about him. There's no doubt about that. So he's caused us lots of problems in the past and could come back and haunt us again on Saturday when we've got two centre-backs and a goalkeeper who have the pace of an oil tanker. That could be serious problems.
I mean, Dubravka, it's not just the case of doing stick to the line. What he actually does is the hokey cokey. He goes forward and back, doesn't he?
He does. He loves the hokey cokey. Yeah.
Yeah, shocking. Absolutely should be nowhere near the starting lineup.
Yeah, he absolutely loves the hokey cokey. Peter Garthwaite, thank you for your super chat. The club need to release Wilson along with Eddie Howe as he is responsible for not selling him last January to Atletico Madrid. I mean, I don't see how it's Eddie Howe's fault, guys. It's not. It's the club in general should have addressed the striker situation, if not last summer, then last winter. But they didn't. They let Chris Wood go and they didn't replace him. It's as simple as that. And now, it's come to bite us in the arse quite a few times this season already. Nicholas says he was good when Sweden played against Slovakia for so much for him to do. Most of the match was on one side. He saved a lot of shots.
Nope. Still don't want him to play.
It does not matter what you do, guys, to promote Dubravka. Alex will just not have it full stop. He's done. He was done with Dubravka mid last season. So there's no way that Alex
had a lot of opportunities
watching Dubravka. He did have a lot of opportunities.
We've seen him. We've seen the evidence. It's in all the games. We gave him weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. He was making all these mistakes off his line, and it never got any better.
Yeah.
Never got. It's just clearly something missing in his game that he's unable to do it.
Yeah, Phil makes a good point, actually. The deal to sell Chris Wood seemed like a dream come true at the time. It's funny. It really is how things turn out in football. Yvonne says Pope hasn't been the same since his last injury. We knew the screws in his shoulder, although holding him together would affect him mentally in games. I think it has. I think if you look at the goals Nick Pope's conceded this season, I would agree with that. I think a lot of people have made a point that he's quite slow going to his left. It doesn't look it on camera when he's making saves, but you can see it if you slow it down and you analyze it in more detail. I think a new goalkeeper is a necessity. But Billy, away from Alex's, I won't say hatred of Dubravka, just that he's done with him. I think Dubravka will start if Nick Pope's missing. Although I want Vlachodimos.
Nothing would surprise me. Personally, I don't think he will. I think he'll play the fella that cost 20 million quid, personally, because I think the board will be thinking, well, hang on a minute, you've got a £20 million goalkeeper then. He's not going to play second choice, so what we signed him for? We know
but the board might know that it was a PSR stunt.
They will do, but they'll still want to see some value for them, and surely to God. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was
rule bending.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a PSR job. I don't think we had any intention of signing Vlachodimos until the shit hit the fan on deadline day, to be quite honest. But it's the way it works. I hope it's him. I hope it's not Dubravka. We know it's going to be Dubravka. You guys just need to accept that. Dubravka's been on the bench. If he was going to put Vlachodimos in, then Vlachodimos would have been the reserve goalkeeper for the last few games. It hasn't. It's been Dubravka. So it's a natural thing that if Pope's missing now, he's not going to turn around and bring Vlachodimos in from the cold. He's going to play Dubravka, which I think is a huge risk. It's a huge error. But then Dubravka could probably go and play man of the match on Saturday. I hope that our goalkeeper isn't very busy. Let's be honest here. Let's just hope our goalkeeper has very little to do. But that might be wishing for a little bit too much, given our form against the lower league sides. But this is a match to put that right, Alex, to get rid of the ghosts.
What do you mean? Ghosts as in recent...
Ghosts of beating these teams that we should be beaten from the lower in the table.
Yeah. Well, Leicester are even further down that list when we talked about sort of Palace and West Ham. Well, Leicester are even further down on that chart. So, yeah, anything but 3 points is a failure in this game. Absolutely. Shouldn't be a banana skin. They've, on their sofa score page I've got up, there's only one win on that page. The rest are all losses and draws. I don't care if they've got a new manager in. It doesn't seem to matter whether we play them with a new manager or the old manager. We lost to West Ham when Lopetegui was basically gone.
Retro Andy, please do never put that comment in again.
I mean, the thought crossed my mind. I'd rather see Gillespie than bloody Dubravka at this point. Obviously, Gillespie's played 2 matches of football.
Well, Alex, whoa. I mean, I know.
Have a party planner in goal. Why not?
Oh,
yeah, I know. He's played about 2.5 fixtures in like 4 or 5 seasons.
Australia All Stars. That's enough for me.
Billy, you
Australia All Stars. There was one game in Saudi.
Stop punishing us with that.
Well, he was
terrible. He was terrible.
We bought John Ruddy, and all we've done is put him on the website in a dressing gown.
Listen, I think that was more for coaching.
He was doing really well for Birmingham in the Championship. He was fantastic. That run in.
I really genuinely think. Listen, I'm all for playing somebody else apart from Dubravka. I
would rather bring one of the kids up from the academy to play in goal than play Dubravka. I'm that much against. I do not think he should put the shirt on again. It's completely sort of destroyed the momentum of last season with the midfield and the disconnect between the midfield and the defense, and a lot of it was just down to him. We had to completely change the way we played down to him as a goalkeeper and his refusal to just improve.
Well, I'll tell you something, right? If we go out on Saturday with an attitude of, we're at home, we'll roll over these, like sometimes we do, and Shea's got that little bit of swag about him, we will lose the game, because I think we have to go in and mentally, the attitude, everything has to be right about Saturday for me, because if we're off the pace again, Leicester have got, despite where Leicester are on the table, they've got players that can hurt us still. Have you got some graphics, Alex?
I have a few bits, yeah.
While you're doing that, Keith Truscott has sent in a super chat. Thank you, Keith. Our need for more players is growing each day. Whether Eddie is to blame or not, I'm not too sure how Eddie survives past this season. The book always stops at the manager. And Trulls has sent in a super chat as well. Dubes is crap, and Howe wanted to keep Wilson and has said he wouldn't know what to do with a third striker. So, yes, it's on Howe. Take it away, Alex.
So this is Leicester's lineup against Brighton. They've brought up two of their recent games with a 4-2-3-1 with McAteer, Ayew on either side. They've still got Vardy up front, of course, who was doing really well.
He's having a party. He's having a party late on in his career, Jamie Vardy.
6 goals this season in the Premier League.
Your favourite player, Billy?
For fuck's sake.
Jordan Ayew. He's back again.
Jordan Ayew is very despite being absolutely rubbish at football, is probably going to do a Cruyff turn around Fabian Schär and stick it top bins because he's just annoying when he plays against us.
May I just say, the GOAT of centre-backs plays for Leicester. Let's not forget that. Not him, Billy. I mean, Wout Faes isn't even in that lineup.
We'll have a look at the other lineup. This was their lineup against West Ham, so it was very, very similar.
Where's Wout Faes?
He can't get in the side, Billy. The GOAT is keeping him out.
I was depending on him to fucking play Saturday.
He came on. Mavididi came on. Ayew, Daka. Yeah.
They've got some didn't they?
Players that I'm scared of. Buonanotte is doing rather well for them. He's basically everywhere. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of tackling. He's on loan from Brighton. Presumably that's why he didn't play in the previous game. Is doing rather well. Again, Vardy with 6 goals. Same midfield as they had a couple of years ago in Samari and Ndidi. I'm surprised they've not changed that. They maybe didn't have the money to. But yeah, I mean, not fantastic. Their data is pretty woeful for this season. So Leicester are 12th for goals per match, which is massively exceeding what they should have scored. Goals conceded per match, they're conceding on average 2 a game. So again, we're at home, aren't we? At St James's Park, I'm pretty sure we are. So at home against a team conceding on average 2 goals a game, for us not to be walking away with 3 points would be unacceptable. Clean sheets, they've only had 1 all season so far. Average possession, well down. XG down in 16th. So again, massively outscoring what they're supposed to. Shots on target per match down in 18th. Big chances is pretty low. Accurate long balls is low. Accurate passes is low. Big chances missed is, well, that's not really an important one. Accurate crosses, a little bit higher up for them. So obviously a route to goal is a lot of crossing. They have got the 4th most penalties awarded so far this season with 2. They have got a few little tricksters and a few pacey people. Daka, Mavropanos want to be careful of, as is Vardy. So we've got to be absolutely careful nobody does something silly in the box and brings any of these players down. Touches in opposition box is basically the lowest in the league, which is absurd. Corners, again, super, super low. And their defensive statistics are pretty woeful. The 3rd most XG conceded in the league, behind only Ipswich and Southampton. Man United, strangely enough, leading the interceptions and tackles. But Leicester up there as well with 2nd in the league for successful tackles per match. Possession 1 in final third. So they win the ball high up basically 3 times a game, and that's it. So not very
for
many
me, Alex,
in the league.
There's a lot of people. Oh, by the way, Mick J, thank you for your super chat, mate. There's no comment there, but thank you, bud. For me, I've seen a lot of people writing off Jamie Vardy. And
why are they writing Jamie Vardy off? He's scored 6 goals.
Because of his age, Alex. It's simple as that. He's not, people say, oh, he's not the player he was. He's not this, he's not that. No. However, what I will say is do not write Jamie Vardy off, especially against us. When we've got 2 of the slowest centre-backs in the league.
As he's always done, Jamie Vardy always outperforms his XG. He's on 9 goal contributions, guys.
Yep.
He's 30. He's nearly 38.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous. He's still doing a really good job. Although his metrics have fallen off a cliff, he's still really good at finding the net and is still not lost.
That's what he's there for. Completely. He's not there for his metrics, is he, Alex? He's there to put the ball in the back of the net.
I'll tell you what, his shot volume. Look at his shot volume.
Yeah,
1 shot per game.
Well, because he doesn't get the ball, but when he does get the ball, he scores, and that's the worrying thing. Because he can have a field day. Oh God, here we go. This is always a scary part of the show, ladies and gents. Us basically putting the side together. So you can take Nick Pope out for now. I mean, we'll see what Eddie Howe says about that in the morning. But Alex,
what's wrong with John Ruddy?
Vlachodimos in there.
Guys, come on. We have to be serious here. It's not going to be Vlachodimos, is it? It's just
we have a poll. I want a goalkeeper poll.
All right, I'll put a poll up. But listen, I know who people
We've got 4 goalkeepers it could be. We've got Ruddy, Vlachodimos, Dubravka, or Gillespie. There you go. 4 goalkeepers for the poll. Easy peasy.
Goalkeeper for Saturday. Right, let's have a look. So, how do you spell Vlachodimos, by the way? VLACH.
Vlachodimos.
Or Dimos. Right, well, I may have... Okay, that'll do. Who's the other one? Enough. John Ruddy.
Ruddy, Dubravka, and Gillespie.
Oh, do we have to book?
I know, but it's a 4-man poll, isn't it? You might as well.
Right. Okay. So there you go. The poll is there. Who would you start on Saturday in goal if Nick Pope is indeed missing? Vlachodimos, Ruddy, Dubravka, or Gillespie? I mean, look, for me, I would love to see Vlachodimos there. I'm only going off what we've seen on the bench.
Just to answer John's question, yes, we do have 5 goalkeepers in a 25-man squad. Yeah, yes, that is correct.
Yeah. By the way, try and treat the poll seriously, guys. Don't just put Gillespie. Let's actually have a serious poll here. See who people would rather have. Because I'm interested to know, because does anybody still have faith in Dubravka?
I'd rather repurpose Callum Wilson in goal, to be fair.
Alex, it ain't going to happen, pal. Keith Truscott, thank you for another super chat, bud. Not sure if you mentioned, but I hear Richarlison isn't happy at Tottenham and could be linked to us. I would rather go to the toilet, have a poo, and spoon it out and eat it for breakfast than sign Richarlison. I'm telling you now, that would be the biggest waste of money ever.
I mean, Richarlison's daily facial expression looks like that's how he started his day.
Indeed.
Look, I know the guys. We'd have to support him if he signed for us.
Yes, but I know the guy's had obviously some problems with his mental health as well. I don't think he's in the right place, Richarlison. He's not getting games at Tottenham, is he? Is he getting games?
No, not really.
Don't think so. Because they've
he'd only become to us as number 2, wouldn't he?
Well,
and that's not a joke either.
Well, it turned out that it was, Billy. So well done. Apart from that, do we see any other changes?
Well, that's the lineup I'll play.
It's got to be, hasn't it?
I mean, I would play Trippier. Not because Livramento.
Not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout, because I think I'd play Trippier, to be honest.
Against Jordan.
It's no disrespect to Livramento. He just keeps.
Oh, he'd have Ayew in his packet.
I
was going to say his packet there, Billy, but I'll say his pocket.
Yeah, probably well.
Yeah, I think Trippier can get the better of Ayew still, without a shadow of a doubt.
I'd fear the worst if Mavididi played on that side, though. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be massively against Kelly playing in this game either, because I don't think there's as much of a aerial threat. Least amount of corners in the league.
Isn't going to happen either. These are all sensible options, Alex. These are very sensible options, but remember, it's Eddie Howe. And
do you know what I would probably do as well, which is going to cause absolute chaos in the chat? I would drop Joe Linton and start Sean. And I would do it this way around, though.
Well, if Willock was fit, I'd play Willock.
Well, Willock's apparently going to be fit, Billy. That's the news this afternoon. Willock is supposedly, even though he hasn't trained this week, he's expected to train tomorrow and may be available.
So I wouldn't mind seeing Willock play.
I'd play Tonali in the 6 as well, Alex, by the way. I'd push Bruno further forward.
Yeah, but they just rotate, don't they? I think
the last few games when Tonali's played, he has played deeper than Bruno has. Bruno's been more forward.
They swap. Sometimes when we're building out from the back, Bruno will come deepest to collect the ball.
Yeah, but you look at the Palace game, Alex.
Up and
Tonali spent most of his time behind. But listen,
it also depends. It does depend on the pressing ability of the team. So Leicester don't press very much, so we might be able to use Tonali in a deeper role with no real detriment to the side. And it's against like Liverpool, Bruno has to sit. But against somebody like Leicester, we might get away with Tonali being deepest most of the time. So we could go with a bit more of an aggressive lineup. We could probably even start Willock out there. But for me, I just think Joe Linton maybe needs to sit one out.
Do you know what? I'd sit Share me. I'd take Share out and put Kelly in. I know it's 2 left-footed centre-backs, but I'd take Share out. I know it's not going to happen. Neither is Vlachodimos, Alex, but we can dream. Fabian Share deserves to be dropped, Alex.
It's purely because we use him in build-up. Although, that being said, if Trippier starts, there is less need for Share to be there.
Yeah.
Because you've got somebody who can step into midfield and do something.
And if Tonali's sitting in the 6.
Yeah. I mean...
with Tonali bringing the ball out there, Kelly can always do... Yeah, I mean,
Kelly's passing's all right anyway.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No, people... wow, Paul, that's sick. Does he mean it in a good way? I don't know. But listen, Share's been dreadful. Right? Fabian Share's done nothing for me to deserve a starting place. And, it's about time that Eddie's got to be ruthless and say, right, you're not playing well enough. I'm taking you out the firing line for a while. And I know Lloyd Kelly wasn't good in his last game, but how are we supposed to say that every time when we're trying to put players into the side? Oh, well, he was crap.
I don't think Lloyd Kelly was bad. It was just he lost. He lost the one duel he was meant to win that resulted in a goal from a corner. The rest of the game wasn't terrible. It was and the reason that was such a big highlighted goal to concede is because Dan Burn is massive, and that is the only goal we've conceded from a corner this season. And funnily enough, it was the game that Burn doesn't play in. So that's why it's been maybe over-exaggerated a little bit. Kelly's not a bad footballer at all. It's just a bit unlucky that happened in that way.
There is, and I've just seen a comment saying it as well, there is a rumour kicking around that Joe's actually got a broken collarbone. But that hasn't been that hasn't been confirmed anyway, by the way, but that is just a rumour. However, I still agree with Alex. I don't think Joe Linton should play. I think just listen, if you're going to rest Joe Linton ahead of the games that are coming up, this is the game to do it, is it not? And the same for Fabian Share. Take them out the firing line for a game, but I don't think, I really don't think he's ruthless enough to do it.
Especially if we've got an important cup game 3 or 4 days later.
Exactly. But I don't think he's ruthless enough, really. I think that's the problem.
I'm just double checking average positions of Leicester because a few people have pointed out that Van Nistelrooy is not going to play the same way, and I completely forgot to consider that. I mean, that's pretty camps in with a 4-2 and then just everyone else. And
and that's what we struggle against.
Nothing else to play low block.
Keith Truscott, thank you for another super chat. Have a feeling he's going to play Longstaff and Tonali on the bench.
Just out of curiosity, what did our average positions look like against Brentford?
Keith, if you're right, there'll be ructions on, by the way. If Livermento's not in that starting lineup, surely to God he'll not leave him out again.
Tonali?
Yeah. I mean, that will start rumours that there's a problem there. If he leaves Tonali out again, he can't.
Yeah, the Italian journos will have a field day again.
Oh, God almighty.
It was already annoying.
He's cutting his nose off to spite his face by not playing him there. That's the point. He's not doing him any favours by not playing him.
Yeah. I think
there you go. That was our average positions against Brentford. So Hall was the furthest forward defender. We've got Joe Linton and Bruno essentially next to each other. Sean shoulder to shoulder with Bruno. Murphy was the outlet. Isak dropping deeper to collect.
And he takes Jacob Murphy off, despite him being the best player for us.
I just hope he doesn't get all sentimental and think that Harvey Barnes could be the answer against his old club.
Oh, no. I don't think Barnes can play this game. Absolutely not. Gordon had a rest.
Billy is he might take Murphy out, put Gordon right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He might do.
No.
We can't do it again.
We can't. Surely he knows where Gordon's best position is and where he will star, and he will star in that left-hand position. Oh, do you know what? It's always
Murphy's been good the last 2 games, so why not just use him?
He has. But can you remember when Rafa was in charge, and it used to be sort of, we just didn't have a clue what was. He always threw a spanner in to what the team prediction was. Eddie's exactly the same. You just don't know what he might do. And come 1:45 on Saturday afternoon, he could throw another spanner in, and that would. I mean, Barnes is one of the top scorers. Is he not the top scorer this season?
Oh, I mean, he's not doing bad, is he?
I'm sure he's top scorer. He must be.
No, I think Isak's got more.
Is he one behind Isak? Something like that?
Barnes has got 5 goals and an assist. And Isak has... Who wants to load?
Yeah, fine.
Trying to stream and load pages at the same time.
We'll
find it in a minute.
I think he's got 6, ain't he? Isak or 7?
I think he's got 6.
Oh God, my computer's
Alex's computer's
having
died.
a moment. Could you bring the screen share off for a minute while I try?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Baz Down Under says if Gordon is on the right, he will be pissed and want out. The Leicester keeper is awesome. Keep an eye out, guys.
He's a good keeper. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Mick J says if any player starts or plays out of his normal, that shouldn't, then Eddie has to go. Sorry, Alex?
I think the goalkeepers made the 3rd most saves, or they as a team have made, depending on if the goalkeeper's been rotated, the 3rd amount of saves in the Premier League.
Is his name Hermanson or something like that? Hermanson, something like that.
The computer wakes up.
We have Sunderland AFC news in the house, apparently. Spike Milligan says Eddie has not plated the most platers in their right. What? Isak is usually left sided, but plays him as a 9. Spike, I'm sure you're taking the piss out of me there because Sunderland AFC news says Panda Pop is the best drink in the world.
Can you guys still hear me okay? Is it all still fine?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes,
every other window just isn't functioning on my laptop. It's just
the main one is Alex. Claire says Alex's internet is slower than our centre backs.
My internet's really quick. I think the laptop's just... I've got a lot of stuff running right now. It might not be enjoying it.
Yeah, I've got faster.
Who knows what it's like when you've got so many things open and running at the same time.
Absolutely. But I now have very, very fast internet. I have a gig download speed now. So, and I can upload a video in like 20 seconds now. So as soon as I record it, it's basically done. So it's ready to go. Mark Wagstaff says, surely Barnes' best performances have been off the bench. I don't know. I don't know because sometimes he comes off the bench and he's just... I mean, was it only a couple of weeks ago Billy came off the bench? It was anonymous. I can't remember what we scored him, but it was really low marks.
Season, but even despite that, I mean, to be honest with you, he's not had a run of games where he's kind of had a chance to be consistent.
Yeah,
but he never was going to have that run of games because we already have England's left winger in the side. So don't get it. Never got it.
Strange. Right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll have a bit of a prediction time now, shall we? Get your predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how you think the game is going to go. But first of all, before we do that, we'll take a look at the poll for tonight, shall we? And see what the viewers voted. What do you reckon, guys?
I imagine it'd be Vlachodimos.
Vlachodimos with maybe 35%.
35 for Vlachodimos. It's 72% for Vlachodimos.
Wow.
Dubravka was second on 14%. Gillespie was third on 9%. That is a piss take, ladies and gentlemen. And John Ruddy on 4%. That's terrible for John Ruddy, that is. I mean, that's just awful. Shame on everybody who voted for Gillespie. I'm staggered.
Not a bad goalkeeper. I don't know why everybody's... He's not a bad keeper. He's definitely better than Gillespie.
Because he's 40, Alex. People think you just...
Yeah, but he played a full championship season with Birmingham last year and did really well.
He did.
Like, whereas Gillespie has done... hang on a minute. Let me
Billy,
check my notes.
Billy, shut up. Don't.
No football. He still did really, really well.
He did.
Birmingham.
Yes.
If he hadn't done so well, they'd have got relegated again.
That's unbelievable. So Billy has no faith in John Ruddy, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell. Peter Garthwaite, thank you for another super chat. I've said it before. Eddie Howe doesn't know his best 11. Before we do the score predictions, what would you like Eddie to be asked in the morning, guys, at his press conference? What is the main question that you want him to answer?
Will we be seeing more of Will Asula? That'd be one.
Mm-hmm. Alex?
Yeah, I want some good questions to do with Osula and to do with Trippier being integrated and Joelinton maybe needing a rest and Miley coming into the side. I want some proper questions. If I have to sit there, I guarantee we're going to get this as well. We're going to get somebody there's probably a journalist sat at their desk right now, scribbling up some notes, thinking they're really bloody clever, going, "Oh, Eddie, in light of Saudi Arabia's successful bid to host the 2034 World Cup, how do you feel about the..." No. Scribble it out. Yeah. Put a line through it. Ask a question about the football match, please. I know they're going to do it.
We want to know.
I'm already angry with it.
Yeah, you can tell. Well, we'll see. What's your prediction for tomorrow then, Billy Bob?
Tomorrow?
For Saturday, sorry.
It'll be a bright, sunny day. Saturday, we should have way too much for Leicester. And as long as he picks the right players in the right positions, I'll see us winning. 4-1.
4-1. I'm going 3-0. Hopefully for a clean sheet for Dubravka. But I think we'll have too much for them. We may end up with egg on our faces again, but come on. We've got to be optimistic. If we're not optimistic, what chance do we have? 3-0, I'm going. Alex? Uh-oh, here we go. I don't like it when Alex squints like this. It worries me deeply.
I'm going to go with 3-1 to us. Because that's what that's the kind of score we should be pulling out of the bag, really.
Yeah.
The attackers are doing well. 5 goals in the last 2 games, creating lots of chances. But it's better. It's definitely better. We just need to make sure we don't concede a bunch of goals. I think we'll concede something. That's why I've gone with the 1. And I'll go with an Isak goal. I think Murphy's due one because I think he's been hitting posts and crossbars and been getting in the mixer. I think one of them will go in. So I'll go with Isak, Murphy, and I'm going to go with a cheeky Lewis Hall goal.
Ooh, cheeky Lewis Hall goal would be nice. Right, just before we end, I was scrolling through Instagram on the Toon Review account this afternoon, and I came across West Bromwich Albion's feed. And there's a player celebrating a goal, and I'm quite staggered because I looked at it and thought, that looks like one of my colleagues. Billy, I don't know what you want to make of this, but is Alex moonlighting as a West Bromwich Albion player?
Let's have a look. That looks more like Deco.
Do you not think there's... Look, Alex's face is next to it. There is a... There's definitely a sort of... There's definitely a link there, isn't there?
There's a bit of a likeness.
Definitely the eyes. I mean, Alex, can you try and squint your eyes? Like, you know, go
he's doing a Lee Harvey Oswald face when he got shot.
Billy!
He is.
I mean, I wish I was on as much money as them.
obviously the skin colour's different. I'm not saying he's a bloody match man. These footballers love the sunbeds quite clearly. I guess some people are saying it looks like Alex, but I just thought it did. But what the hell? Sod yous all. Anyway, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. There is a lot of confidence in the chat with the score predictions. So let's see how that works out. We've been confident before, but listen, if we can't be confident going into a home game against Leicester City, then what position does that make us as fans? Where are we with Newcastle United? It's frightening. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. As usual, it will be uploaded to iTunes and Spotify in round about an hour's time. It'll be there for everybody, or whichever you choose to have your podcasts on. It's available on all the good podcast providers round about an hour after the show. Don't forget, we have a Facebook group as well. If you want to join that, just look for the Toon Review. Thank you to the mods. Brilliant again. Thank you to Alex and Billy. And of course, thank you to you guys out there. Thank you for joining us. We're back tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning with the press conference reaction. So join us for that. We'll see what Eddie's had to say. Any major talking points coming from that. He'll be probably asked about Callum Wilson, but he'll give the usual response. It's not too serious, but he'll be out for 12 months. But we'll wait and see what he says on that one. And of course, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, we're back with TTR Friday. Your chance to come on and join us as well, and talking about the big game on Saturday as well. So thank you, everybody. And finally, a massive thank you to Mamaroo Records as well. Check them out in Whitley Bay for all your music needs, music merchandise, sporting merchandise, gift cards. They've got it all. If you can't get there, please go to their website, which is pinned at the top of the description. Guys, there's numerous people putting Paul in the chat. I did it 10 minutes ago. What were you listening to 10 minutes ago, guys? I did it 10 minutes ago.
When to get the popcorn.
Well, clearly. But the poll has been done. So I'm sorry, guys. I read it out 10 minutes ago. You will have to rewind. And if you want the results of that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you back in the morning, bright and early at 11 o'clock. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, folks. Take care.
Live on this story.
Come back and check out the green.